live,
Uncut,
unedited.
unedited. Just in case
Tell
y'all
the
can't
truth
hear, it's low.
and
All
shame
right,
the
people.
devil.
All right.
I
This is
love
live,
being
uncut, unedited. This is your boy Martin G. I got a couple of guests in the house. We represent Teamwork Inglewood. So I'm just waiting a few more people to come on in. Come on in. Come on in. It's now 12:19. So we're probably gonna go about 35, 40 minutes or something like that. That's good.
Yeah, that works.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Got a couple of guests in the house. We're going live, people. Come on in. I need some people. Come on in. Make sure you share the video.
Share the video. Share the
You guys,
video.
you can look at it too if you want. It's on YouTube or Facebook, Martin G. Johnson.
Okay.
Just make sure when you just turn it, the volume down. There. All right, come on in, people.
You have
Come.
Facebook?
I have.
Or YouTube. YouTube.
Oh,
I'm
YouTube?
on, yeah, I'm on YouTube too.
Oh,
All right, come on in, people. Martin
Yeah.
Johnson coming in. Me and my partner, Vera Giles Norris.
Hey, everybody. What's up? What's up? Share the
Come
video.
on in.
Share.
Come
You-
on. Go ahead. Go Vera.
No, I was getting ready to say I'm super excited about today's topic. This is one that I am encouraging everyone. Make sure not only do you share it, but if you got teenage girls that's let's say I'm gonna say at least from 5th grade to all the way to college age. Share the video. We got some information that is really going to help them, and also it's going to let several cats out the bag because it's something that I'm really passionate about. So I'm excited about being here today. Really, really great show. Really great.
Mhm.
So
You can actually introduce everybody. We just get
Okay.
a few more people come in. Let me acknowledge a couple of guests coming in.
all right, come on in
All
the
right,
room,
Kenny
yo.
Nicole, I see you. I see you. Just come on in. We're not taking any calls today, people. So do not call in. You can write whatever you want in the messenger. That's cool. No calls today. No calls. But we definitely live uncut. That's why I don't have the number post. No calls today. No calls. And we're gonna go around the table. Everybody gonna introduce themselves. So start with myself. Y'all know who I am, Martin G. Johnson, aka the Crime Chaser.
Y'all already know what it is.
Uncut, unedited, tell the truth, and what?
Shame the devil.
All right, that's
And-
what we're gonna do here today. And we got 3 special guests in the house.
Yes.
Now to
And-
my right, maybe to your left. Well, go ahead, Vera.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll kick it off.
Go ahead.
Well, you guys already know it's Vera Giles Norris, officially here with my partner, letting several cats out the bag. And today is definitely going to be a cats out the bag event. We also have here, what's your name? Miss Monique Thomas is one of our special guests today. She's a parent. She has a 17-year-old. And so she's going to share her experience being a parent based off of, our conversation today. We got Dr. Aisha Griffin in the building, and she's an expert behind this. She's done a lot of research, and I cannot wait to hear you talk. And then we have her partner, Miss Justice. And hold it, it's not poetic, but it is definitely the justice that we're looking for.
Yes.
Okay, so we got Justice. So you know what I'm gonna do first of all is I'm gonna kick the ball right off in your court. I want you to share with people today who you are. Let us know where you come from, and then tell us what's your mission here today. What's your purpose here today? So who are you?
Yeah.
Where you come from, and give us your mission.
Okay. My name's Aisha Griffith. I am assistant professor at UIC in the College of Education. I research teens' interactions, relationships with adults in learning contexts. For the first part of my research, I was really thinking about youth programs because those are places where folks flourish. But in the last few years, I've been looking at Black students' experiences in schools, and those types of relationships with adults are very different. So my mission or purpose for here is to provide a tool that I think will spark conversation for folks to really promote equity for Black girls because their experiences in schools are set against them.
Wow. Justice. Same thing. Who are you? Where you come from? And what are you going to share here today?
So my name is Justice Harris, and I'm a student at UIC, and I'm also going into the PhD program for clinical psychology. So I've been working with Aisha for, I don't even know how, maybe going on 2 years, maybe 2.5. And when I first got introduced to Black Girl Rises, which is the name of the lab that we're working in, it really struck me because I had an experience working with Black youth in a community setting at a organization called Breakthrough. And so as soon as I got introduced to this project, I said, this is exactly what we need to do, because I had so many conversations with girls who told me, you know, they're not feeling welcomed in these spaces where they're supposed to be learning. It's supposed to be a space for education and even growing socially, but they're not being appreciated in these spaces. So working with Dr. Griffith is giving me the opportunity to think of solutions for these problems and also get the information out there.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. And then Miss Monique, thank you for coming in today. You're a parent, and just based off of what you've heard, what have your experiences been as a parent? And let us know who you are, where you come from, and what you hope to share or get across here today, or even learn.
Well, as of now, I have no problem with basically telling my love life story. I have a daughter; she's 17, but I actually just got her back in my life. I was going through a DCFS situation, so she's been with me for a year.
Mhm.
So a lot of this stuff to learn is going to be, you know what I'm saying, good information, good experience. And as of me, I work with Team Inglewood. I work with as a parent ambassador inside of Inglewood STEM High School. So I deal with a lot of seeing, you know what I'm saying, like the interaction of the attitudes of the teenage girls, the ups and downs of them, you know what I'm saying, different genders of the teachers, you know, the students, and you know what I'm saying, how the boys are getting away with certain things. And you know, so a lot of stuff is like listening to y'all is definitely gonna be a lot of information, but it's some stuff out there. So
I'm quite sure you're gonna be able to relate.
definitely be able to relate.
Okay, so you know what? Let's just go ahead and kick it off with a few questions, and then for the audience.
No, I got some questions.
Okay, go ahead, Martin.
I was reading the statistics earlier today about one in every black girl get. Where is that at? I think it. Where is it? I missed. Yeah, that's
This one?
Yeah, I think that's the one I wanted. Oh, is that the one? Oh, let me see. Okay, key facts. Let's talk about key facts. That's what I want to talk about. The key facts. That's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
The key facts. Go ahead. Explain that to the audience, the listening audience.
Yes.
We're talking about young black girls, right?
Black girls.
Okay.
So if we look at Black girls' experiences versus white girls, I'm going to run down some key facts we have in here. Black girls are 2.17 times more likely to be restrained, 3.66 times more likely to be arrested at school, 3.99 times more likely to be expelled, 4.19 times more likely to be suspended from school, and 5.34 times more likely to be transferred to another school for disciplinary reasons. And I do also want to mention, those are the numbers, but a lot of the violations Black girls experience is around being judged as disrespectful or disobedience, as well as dress code. So a lot of these are concerning statistics, but also the types of behaviors that are really subjective that adults are making judgments are fueling the disparity too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next.
And go ahead, Monique.
That's definitely something that I do notice seeing in Inglewood STEM, especially as in dress code. You know, like 1 minute they wear uniform, next minute they don't. And I have witnessed, you know what I'm saying, you have Mexican kids in there, you know what I'm saying? They'll come in with little shorts. They can come in, won't be nothing. Black girl come in because of the way we're shaped. She stopped at the door, you know what I'm saying? She's old, you know what I'm saying? You have to get on, you know, have to put on jogging pants. And when she states like, oh, okay, if I have to put on jogging pants, everybody else needs to put on jogging pants. I'm not the only person there,
Right.
but it's the way that, because of that, black women are shaped. Black
Yes,
women are
yes,
shaped, but no, shorts are shorts. Like, it don't matter how you're shaped. If they under you, if I can see your cheeks, it don't matter if you have a figure or not. So that definitely is something that definitely goes in with that school. And it does cause a lot of, like you said, the cause of disrespect, because the girls would then start talking very disrespectful because they're not understanding why is one allowed and one's not.
Yeah.
I
But-
mean, oh, sorry. go
Oh
ahead,
no,
Justice.
I'm sorry. But I have to question: is it disrespect, or am I standing up for myself?
That's what it
You
is.
know,
They're
you know,
standing up for themselves.
exactly.
But it's just now the way the kids is, the way they word certain words, it just off bat comes out as disrespect. Because the kid can just say, you know what I'm saying, get out of my face. that don't mean that they're telling you get out their faces. Because as of right now, they probably don't want to talk. You know what I'm saying? Or they're trying to restrain themselves from getting to that
Mhm.
point of being disrespected. They probably don't know how to say, I don't want to talk right now.
And I'm gonna use another word because a lot of times when young Black women speak, it's also intimidating.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
Yes.
I could only imagine, because you're intimidated as a teacher, with the way that this young lady is able to verbalize how she's feeling,
Right.
as well as the tone that's in her voice, it's intimidating because they understand the power of this young child. And then how they're able to articulate, as well as how they're able to express their feelings. It's like, wait a minute, hold on, I'm not being disrespectful, I'm speaking to you, and I really would like for you to be able to answer me. But what we experience is that, for one, I believe in the school systems that there should be a real program that teachers that's not really able to kind of deal with our girls
Mhm.
should have to go through a program. And what I would like to even see the more is women that look like and that teach and raise young Black women are more in the school system than is that's not in the school system. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I mean, that came up in our work as well, just looking at these different experiences of Black girls. This idea, I don't see myself in the school. Like, they might not say, I don't see myself in the school, but they are saying, there's only 3 Black, women who are teaching here.
Mhm.
During 12th
Mhm.
grade is my first and only African-American teacher, and he told me I could make something of myself. In all of these experiences, someone touches your hair and you have to at some point say, this isn't a petting zoo. So
Mhm.
at all of these levels, from the leaders, from the teachers, like you're saying, and then the interactions, which leads to this piece around, okay, you're being disrespectful. The other thing with our just literature in general out there talks a lot about how adults in the States, especially white adults in our teaching staff are largely white, you're socialized within this systemic oppression and how we think of Black girls. And so if you're coming up with these notions of what women should be based on what we say white femininity is, that's
Mhm.
already setting Black girls up to fail in those, teachers'
Yeah.
eyes. So I definitely agree with
Right.
you.
I want to get back to the, basically, I see you have down on the sheet, it said, there's no white kids getting in trouble. This is the teenagers talking
Mhm.
in the class, and only Black kids. But they could do nothing. They could be doing the same thing. That's 9th graders.
Mhm.
These are some of the things that you went through. And also right up under it, if you're a Black and a girl dress code is different from exactly what you said, Monique.
Mhm.
Mhm.
She had this down here. Even though our bodies are shaped, man,
It's actually, yes,
Actually-
Yeah, it's
same.
exactly what you said.
wow,
It's
exactly.
Yeah.
It's verbatim.
And I also experienced the first part. I see kids in the hallway. Kids don't want to go to class. They in the hallways. You hear the security guards, they always, send the Black kids. They name. Constant. Oh, call my mama. Oh, send them to 124. It literally was one boy when I first got there. When I say I wanted to put a Fitbit on him, he was Mexican, and I say every period he was walking. And it just got to the point where I was like, so what did y'all go do? Oh, this is what he does.
Mm.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
this is what he does, but y'all chasing all of the Black kids. Y'all own them. Oh, they on the first floor. They going from the second floor to the third floor. Y'all own them like criminals, but you just didn't. Oh, this is what he does.
Yeah. And you know what? A lot of times, and it's a shame to say this, is that I believe that there is a bias. And because, again, based off of what they may have saw on the television
Mm.
and based off of, just word of mouth, it's like if you get too many African American children, teenagers out of place, then it's usually trouble
Right, chaos or
and
something.
chaos.
Yeah.
And so I believe that in their bias, that's exactly how they do in the schools. It's like, no, don't let them get out of line, because you get too many of them together, then it's a problem. And they could be doing the same identical thing as
Mhm.
the other
Mhm.
race of children, but again, they're not going to get disciplined the same. It becomes what we will call a riot when it's a bunch of Black people, young adolescents, as we should say, hanging out. Here's my other question: is that we talked about in your study is that some of the children felt like the teachers didn't know their names and that they could memorize other children's name, but when they got to my name, it's like, okay, you can't remember my name. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so there was one quote that came from one study, and the girl, and I want to also mention, you're talking about teens. So teens are noticing these things more because as you're getting into adolescence, you're developing more critical consciousness. You're developing more, okay, I'm seeing patterns here. So this person said, I noticed teachers memorize white people's names more than Black people's names. My teacher called me another Black girl's name today, which is not my name. And I took out this one part of the quote. It was at the end of the school year also.
Wow.
But he knows the white girl in front of me's name. So that interaction may not even be on the teacher's radar, but that is just like, you're not even seeing me.
You're not even seeing me.
Exactly.
And now here's what I noticed is that depending on how much they have to discipline you, they know the children's name that's really causing a lot of problems.
That's a really good point.
Right. So if you were one that was not really in a lot of trouble, kind of laid back, then they don't really remember you. But if you was Billy, and it's Billy because you constantly calling him, so you say his name over and over and over again, drill it in a negative way.
Right.
And now you've made Billy the problem child when really Billy probably is, not academically being challenged in the class, because I've seen that before. Again, I think I kind of told a little bit before we went on broadcast, I'm a mother of 5 daughters and I am a parent. So the difference with me in these situations is that I was hands-on. So every single time it's something going on in the school, and if my kid got any kind of problem, guess what we did? We got to the bottom of it. And the way I get to the bottom of the problem is I need to see everybody around the table. I need to get 3-way phone calls. I need to see where the problem lies, because if that's and my children, I shouldn't say that they're not always the problem. So a lot of times, just because the teachers say that this kid is causing a problem, parents sometimes want to listen to the teacher because, quote, the adults are supposed to always be right. But like I said, I lived this study, and what I would see is that no, you're not right. You are biased, and you have a failure to understand and communicate properly so that my child can understand you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be the mediator, and we're going to make sure that she understands you and you're going to understand her. And if we can't get that clear, then we're going to put her somewhere where she could be understood.
Yeah.
So that we can, because it's all about education. And again, that system worked for me. And again, I'm not bragging because I brag differently, but all of my children were honor students. I have 3 that have graduated with master's degrees. I have 1 that's a sophomore in college now. And all my children have been straight A, straight AB students, even my grandchildren.
Yeah.
So the system does work.
Yeah, exactly. And I when I was in high school, I was that student who didn't get that much attention from my teachers and kind of wanted that extra help, because not help, but just that attention, because I was doing so well in class. And it wasn't until a situation happened where I was accused of actually cheating on a test that I did extremely well in a subject that I usually didn't do so well in. So I was accused of cheating. And it was in that moment where I was finally getting notice from teachers and, the assistant principal. And it was my mom who had to come to the school and was like, was that advocate and was like, I know my child. She's been in her room studying. She never cheated. You never seen her in this office for cheating, but you jump right and you believe the teacher. And I had to think, oh, was it because of my race? And that was the first moment where I actually felt that way, because I never felt that way in my school.
But I will say, if the parent or the caregiver even knows about it. So one of the research assistants I had when we first started looking at the set of quotes, all of a sudden she said, I didn't realize this wasn't my fault, because she was kicked out of class a lot. She was one of the people that was called disrespectful. And she said, I didn't realize this was my fault. So I wouldn't talk to my mom about this, about this happening with this one particular teacher. So when it's so normalized, parents might not even know. And on top of that, if schools don't have mechanisms for one of my co-authors who is in here, she wanted me to mention, like, there needs to be some sort of mechanisms where parents and girls can share what they're experiencing
Mhm.
before it gets to that point, because there's certain things that will be happening that is even like minor stuff, but it's, dehumanizing.
And you know something that's a little off topic but on topic is that we fail to understand that astrology, and this is like, again, not what I heard, what I know is that with being a mother of 5 girls, 7 grandchildren, I had to also speak with them according to their zodiacs. Because again, to give you an example, my Aries daughter was a little bit more aggressive and voiced her opinion a lot. She was a little bit more feistier, right? So I had to deal with her and even listen to her in a way to understand, okay, the moon was here, the sun was here when this kid was born, so I have to treat her a little differently. Whereas I have a Libra daughter, and she's a little bit more laid back. Yeah, she's a little bit more laid back. And I have to speak with her and in a certain tone, not aggressive, really speaking to her in a way so that she understands. And it's always about respect, right? And then my Cancer daughter. So again, everybody is a little different. And I believe that if there was a way to train the teachers and to know how to really not try to put all children in a box, because they do that for other races of children. They put them in a special box and they deal with them accordingly. But with our kids, I'm really saying, now let's get down to the science of it, because for one, we're not all equal and we're not all the same. But again, you really gotta know how to deal with us. And I'm gonna bring it right here in your court. What I do like is that you pointed out, because I have had a lot of teachers that did care, and they was not just there for the check, and they really cared about the students, and they would encourage them, and they would say, listen, I know you're having a hard time, but thank you for coming to me. Let me get to the bottom of it. Let's talk about the teachers and the students that said how they felt
Yes.
when they came across those types of teachers.
I mean, you see yourself as a human being. So from our data set, it was about 18% that was positive, which is not a high number. But Black girls were saying things like they brought books about successful African-American women to school, or somebody was just saying that they asked me what's wrong, like just seeing you as a human being. And it's sad that this was like 18% of the quotes. And then the other piece was on having a warm atmosphere, having high expectations. We're not saying there shouldn't be high expectations, but you need to show me you believe in me, right? And so now I see more in myself because you see something in me. Right. And then also larger other studies have found if you can have a teacher within a school that you have this supportive relationship, that can actually lower the impact that discrimination from other teachers has on academic achievement. So if that makes a difference with that, imagine if it was all of the school adults.
I have a question to being the devil's advocate on this. Now, some teachers say, well, I have 32 students.
That is true.
You know I'm speaking.
No, that's real.
I don't have
teach
time.
Middle school, so
I don't have time to individual each person. I give the lesson, I have to do the lesson plan, and this is it's excuses. Listen.
No, it's true.
I know. I've been there. I know. That's, and my point is that they're going to use that for an excuse not to do their job.
Yeah. So there's two things I have with that. So the first thing, with a different study, it was a largely white sample. There were people who said, my teacher is this person who I look up to, who makes a difference in my life because they know my name. Then we called the teacher. They didn't even know they were important in this person's life. So that's small actions that can happen with Black girls as well, right? So you know my name, even just, okay, Miss Griffith. I mean, sometimes teachers play like that warm stuff. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just saying, I'm listening. I'm like, it does matter though. It does.
Yeah, a little goes a long way.
Like the small things.
Yeah, I'm not even a teacher. Like I said, I'm just in the school. I'm just like basically like a hall monitor. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like the kids, like I said, you know what I'm saying, they don't really like talking to the teachers. They
Mhm.
really don't like the security. So you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I'm really just in the hall, good morning, hey, you know, keep them out
Right,
the bathroom
right.
and stuff
Mhm.
like that. There was literally one girl, we knew her name by heart.
Mhm.
Everybody scared. Oh, she's always in the bathroom. She's getting caught smoking. She's doing this. She's doing that. Literally, school was out for a week,
Mhm.
and she saw me. We was passing on the train, and I'm in my phone. I ain't even paying. She was, I got my diploma.
Yeah.
Cause I know y'all be talking about me, and I was like,
That's so
you
cute,
know we
though.
was-
Yes.
and I mean, because
Because you care.
she was always, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you're not gonna come in this bathroom. Go
Mhm.
down there.
Mhm.
And she'll see me. She'll be like, "Oh, you came to work today? Yeah, I came to work." So it's like that's why I was just like that stuff. Little stuff do matter to them.
Yeah.
Like,
It
because
does,
it was
yeah.
like, my
It does.
daughter, she's like the opposite of me.
Mhm.
She's the yin to my yang. She's the sweet part. I'm like he say, I'm still the little devil part. But I was that kid in school. You know what I'm saying? I was the kid in the hallways, the disrespectful, the not wanting to go to school, sneaking out of school.
Mhm.
So it's like my daughter, she's the opposite. She wants to be in school. She's in
Mhm,
soccer. She's
mhm.
in theater. She's in dance. Every time I look up, I said, "This is why you complain that your body hurt because you want to keep adding new sport to
New
your
sport,
life."
right?
But
Right.
she's a sweet, and so it's like she does get pulled in. She got pulled into one. She got into a group of friends that she met through soccer, and they got into a fight with another girl, a group of girls that got into a fight, and she got pulled into it.
Mhm.
They called me and was like, "Oh, your baby is suspended." No, she's not. I'm on my way.
Yeah.
So
We're
now-
gonna sit down. We're gonna talk about that.
I want to say something.
Right.
So what do we do as you're a researcher?
Mhm.
And how do we solve that? I mean, what is it? What do you recommend?
Yeah.
Now, we're talking about our children, our black
Yeah.
children. Now I'm looking at my live. I ain't got but a few people on here now. If I had dead bodies, it'd be all over. But we talk about black girls.
Mhm.
I mean, what is it? Because we need help.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to be multi-layered. First, I feel like folks in school, adults, everybody needs to educate themselves on
Right.
this. There's a resource in these briefs I mentioned from Dr. Monique Morris. She has this video on why Black girls are targeted for punishment at school. And just even watching that video can be really powerful. I don't know if you want to mention that other documentary.
Yeah.
You
so,
can.
Oh yeah. So when I first started working with Aisha, she had all of her researchers watch this film, and one of them was Push Out. What's
The
that?
criminalization.
The
of Black girls.
criminalization of Black girls, and the film. Oh, it's
Uh-oh.
it took a lot out.
Tell the truth, shame the devil. Now,
It
don't
took a lot
listen,
out of me.
Listen.
It did. It took a lot out of me. When you're doing research, I think a lot of people like separate themselves from their subjects,
Right.
and I think with that film, it really brought me back to why I wanted to work with Aisha in the first place. I couldn't separate myself anymore from the study, reading the quotes, and I think people try to do that so they won't, you're writing a paper and you won't bust out crying out of nowhere. But I think that's important because it gives you, that emotional connection to keep going with this work. And so I definitely recommend that film because it opened my mind to why this was so important, why I need to continue to do this work while I'm in grad school, and why I started working with Aisha in the first place.
What's the name of that documentary again?
Push Out: The Criminalization of Black Girls in Schools.
Yeah.
Now, okay, is it on YouTube?
Listen,
All right.
so that's the problem. It's just
Listen,
because
I'm looking,
that's
I'm
the
looking at my
hard
live. I
part.
don't have no views on here because I mentioned black girls. In education.
yeah. So I would say the why Black girls are targeted for punishment.
No
at
views.
school.
I didn't have any.
No,
either.
I ain't got no views. Go ahead.
Yeah, why Black girls are targeted for punishment at
Right.
school. That is a good TED Talk. And she has other stuff like these videos on her website. But yeah, the documentary, it just became available.
Oh, where? Amazon somewhere or what?
So I'll share
Oh,
with you the link.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay, yeah,
Off-
yeah.
not
And,
on-
and also I have
Okay.
the copy as
Okay,
well.
cool.
But yeah, that I'll
Wow.
share with you that.
Okay.
And that just came for purchase. The other thing, once people are educated, is like identify the assets of Black girls. Like what makes them excited. I think one thing with you mentioned extracurricular stuff
Yeah.
is like if you feel excited about something or you feel someone sees you in your positive aspects, even in after school. Sometimes after school leaders just think differently.
Yeah, and sometimes, to be honest, a lot of this stuff, a lot of people be circling on the school, the teacher, the faculty, the principals. What she just said when she just said, "Oh, I don't want to toot my own horn," I want to gloat. Because
Yes,
it's starting
yes,
at home.
yes.
Like a lot of these teachers now, they only can do so much because a lot of these kids walk up in them schools and feel like they can't be touched. Like, I'm 39, and if you call my mama right now, I'm still scared.
Mhm.
They don't care. I'm gonna call your mama. Here, call her.
Mhm.
That fear isn't in them anymore. They now they feel like they're us. They feel like they're the adults. So as much as the school is trying to work together, it's like we really can only do so much when we're working with fearless kids. Like these kids now, you got some that hear it and you got some that don't. And when they don't want to hear it, they don't want to hear it. Like I've seen kids walk out the classroom, teacher, come back, I'm gonna call your mama. They'll turn around, I don't get no call.
Yep. And you know what I want to
Vera,
add?
before you say something, I want to ask you, tell us what you've taught your daughters when you drop them off
Yes.
to school. I'm special. I'm going to be great. Tell us that. I mean, then you go
Yeah.
on with your comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Share that with us. real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so Martin just happens to know. So since my children have been young, every morning before they go to bed, before they go to school, I yell out to them as they were getting on the bus, "You're the best of the best. You're a champion. You're born for greatness. You're beautiful. I believe in you. You're going all the way and you're taking me with you." And I would just keep saying it over and over and over again. And that was as they were getting on the bus. So I'm the parent that's literally yelling out the door, "You're the best of the best. You're beautiful. You're a champion." And then on the days that I would have to drop them off at school, they'd be like, "Ma, are you gonna yell?" I'd be like, "Okay, well, give me a kiss and I'm gonna yell." And then I will tell them in the car. And because I believe that a child's first example of
Say it.
you're beautiful, you are smart, you are the best of the best, you a leader, you're born for greatness, it need to come out. And so not only, and here's the funny part is that if I call my 5-year-old granddaughter, who just received a award because she was the top reader graduating from preschool, as well as, this kid, she could literally hold this whole conversation sitting here. You'd think you was talking to a 20-year-old, but she says it verbatim. She gets up in the morning and she's like, "Call grandma, let grandma know I'm the best of the best. I'm born for greatness." But I wanted to say this as you were speaking, Monique. My children grew up as a little different because the teacher doesn't get a chance to say, "I'm going to call your mother." My daughters would be like, "You know what? Do me a favor. Do you want me to call my mom or do you want to call her?" And the reason that I taught them that, and I also taught them this, as they're writing you up and as they're documenting you, I want you to document your teacher so that it's not just one-sided documentation. I need you, because documentation beats conversation any day. So I want you to document, let the teacher know that you're keeping trace of them. But the other thing I always teach them is respect. So I'm not the parent that's going into the school and ready to be so disrespectful to some teacher. Oh, absolutely not. I will not give you the time of day to be able to put me and my child in the box and say that we're disrespectful. But what I am going to do is I'm going to hold you accountable. I want you to do your job. And as a parent, I'm going to do my job. And as a student, my daughter is going to do her job. And if everybody's doing their job together, then guess what we're doing? We're working together. But anything outside of that, that's the problem. The other thing that I love is that they have parents that can volunteer. I live in the suburbs, and one of the things that I said is that we need more parents in the building. So I have an outreach program that I'm literally putting into place for this school year, whereas we are the liaisons between the school and the police station. So whatever's going on in school, I know we have some gray areas that we can't get involved, but I encourage students to come through my organization and let me know let the cat out the bag. And so if they do that way, then guess what? I know what's happening. And then we are because we don't want it to get to the police. Because a lot of times we could solve problems if we would just talk to these children. So again, back to you, because I know you got a lot of thoughts and a lot of things going on in your head based off of what we're saying. that's wrapped around this. Go ahead. I want to hear from you.
No, I mean, I think what you're saying in terms of actually having structures that are bringing folks together is that's what that organization is doing. And so I think part of this is also educational leaders partnering with organizations like that. And I think that and I hate to make it about funding, but a lot of times the orgs who are doing that work do not have a lot of funding,
Yeah.
right? And so if schools were collaborating in those spaces, schools got some money. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's not like a lot of money, but we've been talking about how can they learn from collaborations with programs that do mentoring with Black girls, with historically Black sororities, their graduate chapters. Like, what are the ways that we're seeing assets in Black girls? So that's one thing I was thinking about. And then the other thing, to intentionally reach out to parents in a way that when they can come in school, and it's not only when it's a call that their kid is acting a certain way, because it sounds like you create a setting where your girl, the teacher, and you are a team.
Yes.
How do you have that environment structurally? So it's, you know what I mean? I feel like.
Yeah, and let me be clear.
Yeah.
Let me be real clear. Because sometimes I don't even always know who the teacher is.
Right.
And the reason I don't always have to know is because we may not have a problem. The team comes between my child and I first. And we allow and we add on as we're in school, the teachers to be able to come into our circle. So we have a level.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So we have a level of respect. We have a level of understanding. So just to give you an example, this is one of the things that I say, A is what we expect. I mean, that's what we go to school for. A. It's like, what else is outside of A? You do your best.
Mhm.
A B means that I'm going to start being more concerned about what's going on with you in school. A C means I'm coming to see what's happening. You could rest assured your mama coming to see.
Yeah.
A D, well, we know what D's is for, and we're not that.
Yeah.
I mean, D, I say it's for dummies. We're not dummies. Nobody put that label on us. And an F, I can't even say it on this broadcast, but I'm coming.
All right now.
I'm coming to F some stuff up.
Can I ask, and I know I'm not supposed to ask questions, but like, what would you all feel like schools would do to help support you all with that?
Well, that's what's needed. But again, the way that my work structure is and the way that the type of parent I am, it fits with me. It may not fit for everybody. That's why we need a program funding. Speaking of funding, this may be one of our last broadcasts right here because of funding. And I'll let Martin talk more about that. But again, some things we cannot afford to have, because if you take the funding from one place, then you're going to have to fund another place. So why not put the funds in a more positive place rather than taking those funds after the fact, after our children have failed, after they are arrested, after they've committed, or feeling less than.
Yeah.
Let's take them funds and put them on the front end, just like this show.
Mhm.
Again, we don't know who's listening. We don't know who will hear this broadcast.
Mhm.
We don't know what type of effects, but we've been doing shows here that have literally changed people's lives. So you mean to tell me that we don't have enough funds to change people's lives,
Yeah.
but we have enough funds to make people's lives miserable?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, as parents, I'm a parent too as well. So to a teenage daughter, 15 years old. So but yeah, as an incident happened with her too. I mean, they hard. I know my daughter's going through some things right now. Her and the little sister are going through some things with the school, the public school.
Mhm.
They just got in school not too long ago, and they got into a fight. They got rid of both of them.
Mm.
Both of them. I mean, just put the hammer down.
Wow.
Female. So I can identify with this. I mean, put my business out there. I hope my daughter's not listening, but
Don't be mad.
it's just it's crazy.
Yeah.
It is so crazy, but we have to find some solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we have identified the problem. Now what are we going to do about it?
Yeah.
That's the part I'm waiting on.
Yeah.
This is great study.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to know how to handle
Yeah, I mean, so one thing, and I know some teachers don't want to hear restorative practices because sometimes it's like, oh, just the dean. But I do think schools can be a space for restorative justice if all of the adults are on board and there is time to learn about it. So I do think those are alternates, but it needs to be embedded in the school system.
So what do we say about the teachers that don't want to go to effort? They have all the credentials. They come on, you know that. I mean, you guys are teachers, and they have all the credentials, but they just there. I know you don't. I know you look.
Well, a little goes a long way. Like we said earlier, we keep talking about these big solutions, like these
Dr.
big
Aisha,
things.
she quiet.
But it's like a little really does go a long way. Like you said, knowing my name, that does a lot for me. And when I was working in a community organization, I was a teacher's assistant working with 30 kids before COVID by myself. Like when they get into fights, I'll take both of them out the room and we're talking instead of, they did have a thing where you can kick the kid out of the community organization, but why would I do that when that's the only place that they can go to after school and stay out of trouble? So it's like we have these little solutions, like knowing every child's name. It doesn't take that long to do that. It doesn't. I still know all of my kids' names. If I see them on the street, I'm gonna know them like that. And I can probably name 30 off the top of my head.
That's the love you have.
Yeah, so it's the little things can go such a long way. And while we're doing those little things, we can be building bigger solutions.
You know what I was told? I'm 55 years old. I'll be 56. I'll never forget when I was in grammar school. I used to hear the teacher say, "Hey, I got my education. Y'all can play around, do whatever you want to do." That's a terrible thing to tell some students.
Yeah, it is.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still in my. Here I am, 55 years old, granddad, 5 times, and I still remember that.
Yeah, and I heard a teacher say that to a student. And the student turned around and said, "But look at your face. You look as less miserable as us." And she turned around and she just kept walking. And she was a senior. She said, "But you look more miserable than us."
And you should put herself in that.
Still not in the same person.
So that probably wasn't the first or last time she heard a teacher. I've heard teachers say that.
Yeah.
I 39 ride right past him and look at him on the bus. Look at you. You get your education though, didn't you?
Ooh, doctor.
I mean, I think, we put together these briefs and we have these suggestions, but I think we're making an assumption with these. And that's why I'm like blank that these are going to be educators and educational leaders who are invested, right? Who want better experiences. Whereas when I taught middle school, there were a lot of teachers who I'm like, why are you here?
Right?
Yeah. Why are you teaching?
So I'm still trying to wrestle with.
Right. I could tell you, I've read all your
suggestions that are around those types of teachers. But I think that circles back to educational leaders getting the voices of Black girls, getting the voices of families, what are their experiences, but then just getting the voices, how you're going to act on it. You also need to act when you see these disparities. So I feel like I just gave an answer that was not helpful.
Well, I want to say
it was a lot of help.
I want to say this, people. Now, Chicago Public School, we know is special high school and grammar school and public school. It's more whites, and it changed. You know the numbers. I don't know exactly, but I know it's changed. We have so many. So we can't expect white people to understand a lot of our problems that will go through our children. They're not going to bend over backwards for us. I'm saying it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
Nor do they know how to.
I wouldn't say they don't know how to. They probably just don't care.
I do think there's some folks who are invested, but it has to be more than just I care.
Right.
It has to be watching this TED Talk, watching the documentary, talking to other teachers, collaborating. What do you have in your class that has anything about Black women? Like those simple conversations, like starting those conversations, NPDs, like you think we should maybe invite someone from a Black sorority to tell us
Yeah.
about what they do.
Hello.
So,
That's
like,
that's
there's
what I be waiting for. Like,
Yeah.
it's so frustrating to see kids run to a white teacher, and I'm like, y'all are black. Like, y'all understand, y'all are black girls. Y'all voice matters. Like, you don't have to run to this white because you think you have white privileges. Like, she doesn't. Your voice is what matters. And if
Your
y'all
voice
come
matters.
together, y'all can overpower this one teacher. Y'all don't have to run to her to have her speak for y'all because y'all mad. Y'all think that y'all hoping that she has the best for y'all. But as you said, she really doesn't mentally, physically really know what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
And you know what? I want to say this because I can only imagine how people would look at this and be like, oh my God, you guys are attacking white teachers.
No.
This is not that.
No.
The voice is being an advocate
Yes.
for Black women, young girls who have a voice, but has been categorized in a box to where their voices don't matter, to whereas they have to belittle themselves to fit in the box that you all created for them. And then because of the way that they may express themselves, they're not able to even express themselves fully. So again, this is no attack on the teacher. The only teachers that will feel attacked are the ones who want to keep it the same and do things the way that they've been doing it, and who really don't have a heart or a head to care about how Black girls are experiencing school.
Tell
And
the
if
truth
that's you,
and shame.
then I guess this is
Yeah.
probably about you. But if for those that do understand, then you know where our heart is coming from, and you know that we're literally trying to be a part of the solution because we realize that we do have a problem.
I know.
Tell the
That's
truth,
real.
partner.
Yes.
That my partner told it. Listen, any teachers that's listening to me, I'm saying it, public school, if you don't like your job, find another one. You're educated, you go somewhere else.
Please find another
Yeah,
job.
find another
Please,
job.
Please.
You don't want to do your lesson plans. You just there, you just there. You let the children do anything, say anything they want. You just pass them. That's not right. That's not right.
It's not.
And then also parents,
Come together.
it is mandatory that, and again, we can't put all of the parents in the box, and I dare not to, because we understand that some of you like, okay, I work all day. We get that. We need to be able to come together still and take some of that time, because we work all day, but we still make time to eat. We still make time for what we want to make time for. So take a little bit of that time and at least check on your children education and let them know that you're checking, because that there goes a long ways. And don't be so quick to dismiss getting all of the facts, getting both sides of the story. Because there are some parents that only take the side of the story from their child and they don't get a chance to listen to the teacher. And then there are some parents that only take the story from the teacher and they don't listen to their child. Get all of the pieces together, however you got to do it. I don't care if it's via email and you can check it on your lunch break. Whatever it takes, it's by any means necessary, because again, we're in a time where our children's success is not even an option. It never has been an option, but right now it's really not an option.
And just to build off also principles, like look at your discipline data and actually, look at it based on race and gender. You might be surprised what you see, but if you're just looking at race, and make it public.
Yes,
also.
make it available.
publicly
Make it available. Yeah.
Oakland has a site where they have the suspension data publicly available. Those basic things. And when you look at it, do action, because you might be surprised on how your school is looking.
Well, when you speak out, I'm a person that speaks out. You're not so popular. You won't get invited to a lot of places and, things like that. So you're not supposed to say that in public. We know how that is, Martin. You're not supposed to say it. It's not the appropriate time to talk about that. And that's why we have less people on here now, because we're talking about facts, and like you said, gender and race, base it on that. And just take a look at it. And people always tell me, they say, well, Martin, you always talk about race. Everything's about race. When you fill out your application, they want to know what race you are. They want to know where you live at. They want to know if you're male or female. Those things matter. Because if I'm an employer and I'm looking to hire somebody, I'd say I might want 10 females and 30 males. So I'm looking strictly for 10 and 30. So it might be 1,000 females apply, but I only want 10.
Then they specify.
Yeah.
Hispanic or non-Hispanic.
And-
Then
and
you
the-
put non-Hispanic, then they want you to put if you're black.
Right.
Yeah, and I want to also say ability matters too.
Mhm.
So if I'm a black girl in a special education class, like what are the patterns with that?
Mm.
You know, because
That's a whole different story. Oh my God, Vera,
So-
this was your show.
It's
I
been
wish
one.
I would have known.
That's
Well,
why I
I
want to be a speaker.
oh, go ahead.
So again, you know what, let us, because we're about to wrap up now. We want to talk about what Mark was talking about, this being close to being one of our shows with
Right.
the A2J
Yeah, A2J. Yeah,
funding. Yeah. So again, we don't know who listening, and whatever's going on with the, A2J funding, we need that funding so that we can do more shows like this,
Mhm.
because our shows do matter and it has made a difference in the community. So again, we need the funding.
Yeah, I agree with Vera.
And we need people to call. We're gonna, matter of fact, we're gonna start posting videos and asking people to call or do whatever. We're gonna find out what we need to do and we're gonna do it.
That's
Mhm.
right. That's right.
Mhm.
We need it. We have to, things that matter, people, we can get together for family reunions, class reunions, neighborhood reunions, and line dance, but these things are important. This is the benefit to community. So I don't go over that myth and will say black people can't get together and do anything. No, that's not true. We can get together. We need to get together and make something happen positive. There's two beautiful sisters here, 3, 4, all of you guys here.
That's
You-
what it is.
we
You
want
know,
the
it's powerful. That's
Right.
why they try to flip it every time we get together. It's a riot, it's a this, it's a that. No, y'all know when black people get together, y'all know the power. Y'all trying to make it
Right.
negative. And that's just and everybody just follows behind the bandwagon. Oh no, we have to let y'all know it's not a negative. And that's why they try to make it. They do it every single time. It doesn't matter. Y'all know how powerful we is when we come together. And now
Yes.
it's just now time to just show it.
Yeah.
And
I hope you get the funding because,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
even just having a space as a professor to talk about this with
Right.
folks, is
Like this is
powerful.
my first time, and I know I'm finna go home and pray that y'all get the
Funding.
funding. I'm
Yes.
like, no way, I wanna go in there and talk. And now that I did, I'm finna go and pray. I hope y'all get the
Get the
funding.
funding.
Yes.
So who's ever listening to funders, make sure you fund with the A2J funding, please. We need it. We need it.
so in wrapping up, to bring us back around, Justice, here's what I want you to do. I want you to give us sum everything up for us in about maybe a minute or less. And then I want to bring it right over to you, Dr. Griffith and Aisha. And I want you to sum everything up for us as well. Okay?
All right. So today we just talked about just centering Black girls' voices. I think that's one of the main things that we want to do here with the study with Black Girl Rises, is center these girls' voices, which is the whole point of us using these, compiling these quotes that were directly from Black girls and from all over the United States, right? Yeah. From all over the United States. So that's one of the most important things. And just remember that if you're a teacher, if you're working in a community organization with Black girls, or whatever space you're working in with Black girls, that just remember a little goes a long way, and that just keep in mind that they have so much to deal with in these spaces, and spaces where they're supposed to be learning, social, emotional growth, and things of that nature are supposed to be happening. And instead, they're not being paid attention to, or being put in a spotlight in a negative way. Just keep in mind of these things so that you're able to uplift them in a more positive, in a more positive light, and just help them in any way you can. And definitely share this video, because this is one of the ways that by getting this information out, this is a great way to uplift their voice.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, to build off of that, like having a space to talk about this issue. When we came in, one of you said we're going to let the cat out the bag, right?
Yeah.
And so just even to have a space to talk about Black girls' experiences and across, I'm not a parent, but to hear parents' experiences,
I'm a
right?
parent.
And so I think having that space to talk about the issue, and then like you've been pushing me, what is the actions that's going to take place?
Mm.
So. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Well, we tell the truth and shame the devil on here too.
You already know what it is.
We know what it is. So I want to thank you guys, Doctor. Thank you,
for
Doctor.
having us.
Thank Justin. Thank you, Miss Monique, and my partner
Yes.
Vera. This was Vera's show, So it's the women. So I'm just basically here. So I'm gonna let my partner close us out, and I'm done. I appreciate you guys. Share the video. This is where we tell the truth and shame the devil. Close us out, partner.
Well, you know what, you all, I don't even have to say it because you already know what it is. Live, uncut, and unedited. We just let the cat out the bag. Sign us out, Martin G.
Meow. Y'all know what it is.
Live, uncut, unedited. Tell the truth.
And what?
Shame
and
the
shame
devil.
I
Yes.
love being
That's
black.
Black love.